The dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories.
Another pushing rig?
It's like it, Lieutenant. Guy follows the wife into her apartment around 11, intending to rape her. Husband comes home, gets pistol whipped.
Just like the one on Frederick Douglass.
Worse, he stayed longer this time. We got the call a little after 6 a.m. Suspect left him tied up. Wife used voice-activated Siri to call 911.
Good for her. So, she's still conscious?
They're working on it.
Doom, Campisi, twice in 2 weeks.
Long hot summer. They're working on the wife, Cynthia Harris.
She give a description?
Not yet. EMTs are just gonna...
Hi, Mrs. Harris. I am Lieutenant Benson. Can you tell me anything about the man who did this to you?
He was, black, tall. Hold on. My daughter. Oh, my God. Do you have my daughter?
Your daughter?
Sophie, she was at a sleepover down the hall. She got homesick and she came home early. I think he took her.
Okay, a sleepover. How old is your daughter?
She's 12.
Okay, let's get her out of here, guys. We're gonna find her. We're gonna find her. Move.
No videos, no witnesses so far.
All right, he took their 12-year-old daughter, probably didn't want to be seen dragging her out in broad daylight, so let's lock the building down now.
On it.
Clear down here.
Roof's clear.
Anything? Storage room is clear.
Clear in the hallway.
Check over there.
Right away.
Clear! Clear!
Hey! Hey, I found her! Call the bus! Sophie, are you okay? Hey, all right, come on. Come on. I got you, come on. Come on, I got you. Hey! I need a gurney over here! Come on! Come on!
Hey, we got you, Sophie. We got you.
Where's my mommy? My daddy?
They're okay. They're okay. You're gonna be fine, Sophie. All right, I'll ride with her. Find this guy. Hey, sexual assault, secondary trauma.
Busy night. I have a husband and wife being worked on.
Yeah, those are her parents.
Oh, my God.
Sophie, Dr. Patel is gonna take care of you, okay, sweetie?
Get her in that bay.
All right, you're gonna be just fine.
Lieutenant Benson, how are the Dicks?
Alive.
Same MO as last week?
Apparently, looks like we have a bad guy working your precinct. I mean, we're gonna run the DNA, but I
You're
gotta...
still short-staffed, Ray. Whatever you need, just ask. Vertical patrols, get last week's sketch out.
Okay, how about I address your next roll call? Also, I'm gonna need to borrow a couple of detectives to interview the Vicks when they're ready to talk.
You got it.
Thank you.
I need to see Cynthia and Sophie.
Doctors are with them, Mr. Harris. Right now, just tell us what you remember.
It's fuzzy. I was knocked out. Take your time. I get home from work late. He comes out with a gun to Cynthia's head. Pistol whips me. Makes her tie me up. Then he rapes her.
Can you describe him?
Big, black, late 20s.
What about his hair? Anything about the clothes he was wearing?
A bit of an afro. Some kind of a team jersey.
Is this the man you saw?
Maybe.
That the Pushin rapist? My brother warned me about him.
Who's your brother?
He's on the job, the 1-2. You haven't caught this guy yet?
I didn't see him in the hallway, but he was right behind me. He pushed me inside.
Did he have a gun?
Yes. I gave him my purse, my pen number. I did whatever he told me to. But I was worried about my husband coming home. I should have screamed. I should have warned Allie.
Cynthia, he could have killed you. You survived. Your husband survived. Your daughter survived.
Excuse me, we need to start the rape kit now.
Okay.
Hey, how the Vicks?
Not great.
You made the husband watch?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, then he rapes a little girl, too?
Some of our guys know the husband's brother. He's good police.
God help this guy when we catch him.
Yeah. Get a DNA hit yet? I don't think so. Detective Rollins is leaning on the ME.
Rollins. Oh, she's sharp. Yeah, we worked the case together out in Brooklyn a few years back. Kind of hit it off.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah. Maybe I'll just go say hello. Detective Rollins.
Doom. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Congratulations. Who's the lucky dad? Someone I know?
I don't think so.
All right, attention. A lot to cover. Captain Reese.
You've heard about our pattern rapist, so I won't waste any time. SVU is here to walk you through the relevant details. Lieutenant Benson.
So last night, a push-in rape occurred about 3 blocks from the one a week ago. Perp had a gun, and he assaulted each member of the family, including their 12-year-old daughter.
And yes, the victims are related to a brother officer. This is family. Detective Rollins.
Look, the first Vic worked up this sketch. Now, we're still waiting for the DNA from last night's attacks, but one of the Vics did give us details that do match this. Now, he took the wife's credit cards, so we have flagged them. We've left them open.
Canvass the neighborhood. Lean on your CIs. I got no problems with stop and frisk tonight. He's hit our precinct twice this week. He has to have roots here. Someone knows him.
Remember, he's armed. Extremely dangerous. Looking at serious time.
I know it's hot. Keep your vests on. Time, distance, cover are your friends. I don't care if this scumbag makes it through the night. I care if you do. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, let's hit it.
Gentlemen, want to slide over here right quick? Nah, man. Stop and frisk is over. Stop and shut up, is it?
You seen this guy?
Why? You gonna shoot him?
Look again.
I know 10 brothers who look like that.
Start naming them.
Excuse me, ma'am. Would you mind looking at this photo?
Why am I being arrested? I'm just walking.
Okay, just put a name to the face and then we'll move on.
Am I under arrest? Otherwise, I don't have to answer your question.
Okay, ma'am, he raped a 12-year-old girl. You don't want him on the street.
Yo, you seen this guy? I don't know. How about you look at the sketch first, then answer? How about you, bro? You seen this guy?
He may have been here about half an hour ago. He had one of them throwback jerseys on. Number 23.
And you're sure you haven't seen this man?
No, I wish I could help you, but I've never seen that man before.
Thank you, sir. Well, that was useless. What are we, 0 for 6?
Hold on, maybe not. Rollins just got a hit on the bank card.
This the guy?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, how long ago was this?
Maybe 15 minutes.
Hard to see his face.
You got anything else?
No, but that's him. Took out 200. He wanted more, but I told him that was the max. I thought he was gonna shoot me.
You had a gun?
I saw something on his right side.
Lock the neighborhood down.
Central former perimeter around 131st Street. Let transit know perp was last seen 15 minutes ago.
We're on it.
Good. Have unis lock down any ATMs in their sector. He maxed out here, but he could be trying others.
Got it. Spotted him?
Yeah, he was in the bodega 15 minutes ago.
1013. Suspect headed south on Frederick Douglass from 129 toward the project.
That's the Clayton Powell houses. Central, get aviation up.
Let's move.
Copy that. Air 2 on the way.
There he is, right there, right there. Go, go, cut him off, cut him off.
expired claim pile houses.
Hey!
Is everyone all right?
We got him. We got the bastard.
He was going for his gun. Okay, secure the scene now. Carisi, get his weapon. Check for vitals. Got the gun?
Clear.
Where's his gun?
I don't see it.
Carisi, where's the weapon?
I got keys. He's
Where's his
barely
gun?
breathing. It looks
The
like
bus is on its way.
got me shooting him all the time. You showed me a gun. He reached for a weapon, I saw.
Okay, start looking. He must have tossed.
He was shooting at us. I heard it.
Don't say a word.
Hey, I got a wallet.
Okay?
I got cash. No credit or ATM cards. His driver's license says his name is Terrence Reynolds. 22 years old.
Hey!
He lives here on the 5th floor.
Y'all just gonna leave him there? Cops shoot another unarmed black man, then leave him to die? Why are you so worried about a man who just raped a child, huh?
Okay, take it easy.
Ambulance is on the way, ma'am.
You guys need to turn over their guns, and they all need to get to the hospital.
For a blood alcohol and tox screen. I know the drill.
Okay.
I'm gonna need your weapons.
It's a good shoot, Captain. He ran. He was taking cover.
Stop talking, detective. Say nothing to anyone. Wait for your delegate. I'll take your guns over here.
Get his name to real time. See if they have anything on him. Confiscate phones. Somebody could have gotten this on video.
This crowd isn't gonna help
Well,
us.
convince them otherwise.
Well, that was the bus. He's slipping away.
Okay, the bus is on its way. They're coming. Listen, I'm going to stay with him. You go search the building.
Should I wait for a warrant?
I'm going to call one in. In the meantime, just get creative. Okay, he stole their money. He stole their credit cards, their jewelry. We need to tie him to those rapes ASAP.
Where does Terrence keep his stuff?
Hey, don't you need a warrant?
He'll be here any second. Why? You got something to hide?
Was that Terrence who got shot? Why?
He ran. Can I look in here? Yes or no? What's in here that you don't want me to see?
It ain't even mine. Go ahead and look, man.
How well do you know your roommate?
We met like 3 months ago on Craigslist. He's a quiet dude.
Okay. Well, he's got pills here. He's got a few joints. This gives me probable cause to search this whole place. You get that, right?
No.
You covered for him? That makes you an accessory to the rape of a 12-year-old girl. Were you in on that?
No. Look wherever you want, man.
Where was he last night?
I don't know. I was working. You can ask my boss.
Believe me, I will. Your roommate cut his hair recently?
No, man. He always had a fade.
Any drug possession doesn't help me, Carisi. No stolen credit cards? Yes, the warrant is on its way. Get CSU up there. Look for blood, the Vicks DNA, everything. Let's go. Tucker. What, do you sleep with a radio under your pillow?
I don't need one. Please shoot another young black man while travels. Is that them?
Yes, everything's being taken care of.
All right, I understand they have 48 hours to talk to IAB and give their statements, but if they take all 48, your precinct's going to be on fire.
I'll talk to him.
Now, without me, you won't.
Mr. Ensler, Detectives Endowment moving quickly also, huh?
If you're here, Tucker, I'm here.
Easy, guys. We're all on the same team, right?
We were told that our son was here.
Terrence Reynolds.
Mrs. Reynolds.
We got a call saying that he was shot.
He was. He's in surgery now.
What happened?
We're still investigating. What we do know is that your son led the police on a foot chase.
Wait, the police shot him?
Do you know anything about your son's whereabouts last night?
No, he
You
doesn't live
shot
with
him?
us.
Why would you shoot him?
Calm down, calm down.
Is that his doctor?
That's one of them.
I'm so sorry.
No. No, no,
I saw him on TV. That's the guy.
Okay, well, hold on. Take your time. We need to make sure. So look at them all.
No, it's him. His hair is a little bit shorter, but it's him.
That one looks a little like him, but he's young in that photo. Is it old?
No, it's current.
I'm sorry. I think he was older and tougher looking than him.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming in.
You get an ID?
Not really. Rollins,
Immediately. Pick Terrence right out of the gate.
It's 50-50.
3 cops who thought he was pulling a gun that we can't find.
3 cops we know that we've worked with. I mean, Doom is rock solid.
Okay, Carisi, bring in last week's Vic. Show her a photo array. Go over every video from the shooting. Maybe he tosses the gun. And Rollins, where the hell is the DNA?
It just went down to the lab.
So follow it. Test it yourself if you have to.
Terrence Reynolds fit the description of the rapist we were pursuing.
Did you identify yourself?
Yes, and then the suspect fled.
At what point did you find it necessary to fire your weapon?
And the suspect took cover in a doorway and pulled something out of his waistband. At that moment, I clearly felt that my life and the lives of my fellow officers were in danger.
Why did you feel that way?
He fled without cause. We gave chase, and when we subsequently cornered him, he reached for something that I had reason to believe was a gun.
Did you see it?
We were told the suspect was armed. I felt my life and the lives of my fellow officers were in danger.
So you emptied your clip?
No, I fired 3 times.
Your 2 fellow officers emptied their clips. Why did you stop at 3?
I didn't have as good a visual on him as they did.
Oh, you did? And yet you knew he was armed at the time you fired?
I felt my life and the lives of my fellow officers were in danger. Are we good?
Almost. One more thing. Your story, besides the amount of shots you fired, is remarkably consistent with that of your fellow officers.
The truth is consistent, Lieutenant.
Maybe. But usually it's not verbatim.
Next time you prep your people, tell them to use their own words.
I'll take that under advisement.
Please do. I'll be right back. Showing up in person. Bad news?
Didn't want to put it in writing.
Bad idea in the first Vic?
It's worse. The DNA came back. The 2 push-ins are a match, but our perp, whoever he is, isn't Terrence Reynolds. So, our rapist is still out there, and more to the point,
These 3 officers killed an innocent man.
How many more? How many more times must we mourn the death of an innocent black youth at the hands of those who were sworn to serve and protect? How many more have to die? No more! No more! No more! No more!
so the whole city's on boil.
I have to convene a grand jury. The DA says it's my last chance to work my way back into the good graces of City Hall.
So they're hanging you out to dry.
Politicians want an indictment. The DA wants an indictment. If I fail to get it, it's on me.
So you'll push for one? Even though those officers were just doing their jobs?
Their jobs? They fired at an unarmed college student 35 times.
We were in hot pursuit of a dangerous rapist. Terrence matched the bolo down to his jersey. He ran.
A black man in a basketball jersey runs when he gets stopped by the police. You're right, he deserves the death penalty.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's not?
Counselor and Lieutenant Benson, I trust you're here to assure our friend Mr. Barba that this was a good shooting? Or does this relate to the serial rapist you haven't caught yet?
Actually, I was just leaving.
NYPD's PR czar waltzes into my office. This must be my lucky day. What does the commissioner want now?
I know City Hall has their agenda, but what we want, what the city needs, is clarity.
Clarity?
These cops were chasing down an armed suspect who raped a 12-year-old. Get ahead of it. Explain why New York isn't Baltimore or Ferguson.
Or Cleveland, or Los Angeles, or Staten Island. You see the problem. There's a pattern.
This wasn't a part of it. The sooner the grand jury clears these 3, the sooner the city can begin to heal.
It used to be a rush to judgment, now it's a rush to heal.
Mr. Barba, Reverend Curtis would like to speak with you.
I'll call him back.
Actually, he's here.
Mr. Barba.
Reverend Curtis. Counselor Henderson.
Deputy Commissioner. Glad to see you've taken an interest.
Always. Mr. and Mrs. Reynolds, on behalf of the police commissioner, I would like to express our sincerest condolences.
Thank you.
I was just telling Mr. Barba, the commissioner wants a full and thorough investigation to ensure justice is served.
I'm sure he does, as do we.
Now, you're the first to hear this. NYPD is suspending the officers involved.
Without pay?
That's a union issue. I'll leave you in the very capable hands of the ADA.
Mr. and Mrs. Reynolds, please.
They put you in the hot seat, Mr. Barba.
I just want to get to the truth.
We all do. Fortunately, recent grand juries have been rigged, so our community has lost faith in the process.
This process is going to be different.
We're here to ensure that. We're going to be proactive.
Inciting the public will not help.
That's not our intention.
The last thing we want is more violence.
We're going to conduct a parallel investigation, an independent autopsy. We want to offer another avenue for people who might not feel comfortable talking with law enforcement.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I'd also appreciate any evidence you find coming directly to me. Let's not play this out in the press.
My job is to advocate for the family. I will do whatever is in their best interest.
And that interest, for all of us, is justice.
As it is for all of us. Thank you for coming in. Again. Mr. and Mrs. Reynolds, we are all very sorry for your loss. Thank you.
I know you're tired of this kabuki, Raphael, and so am I. This year alone, almost 700 people have been shot and killed by the police. Now, that won't stop until cities start to send a message. I can't imagine the pressure that you're under. Please, do the right thing here.
Find out about our suspension by hearing it on the news. With a lot of respect.
Get used to it. City Hall's looking for sacrificial lambs.
Detective Rollins.
Sergeant Dunlap. Detective.
Hey.
What are you doing here?
She came to meet me.
Well, I was just leaving.
Yeah, and I got my wife and kids crying at home. You first?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Sorry about those guys.
That's all right. You guys are under a lot of stress.
Yeah. About that? You know Barba? Any idea where he's going with this?
Honestly, I don't.
Your lieutenant, Finn, and Carisi were all on the scene. SVU's got our back, right?
We know you're good cops.
He was cornered. His hand went to his waist. That's when you used deadly force. He was guilty of something. Why else would he run?
Maybe it's best not to talk about this just in public. Come on, how about I give you a lift home?
You think I'm drunk? Fine. What difference does it make? They're gonna hang us, aren't they?
Mr. Barba, you didn't have to come down.
Yeah, I did. I read your report.
Look, I know this is a tragic situation, but like it says, they're not bad apples. No charges of excessive force, no accusations of racism.
Commendation for integrity, meritorious police duty.
So even our best and brightest are gunning down innocents.
They believe the suspect had a weapon and was a threat to themselves and civilians. It's all in our report.
Yes, I know. I watched the deposition as well. There appears to be a gap. You said one more thing, then it cut out. A glitch?
No, we thought that they just sounded a little overcoached.
Overcoached or coached to lie?
The former. They each quoted verbatim the legal definition of the necessary use of force.
We hear that a lot. Lawyers. Bottom line, if I was in their shoes, I'd have fired too.
35 times?
Amanda.
What? Declan, what are you doing here?
How far along are you? I'm 4,000 miles away in Serbia trying to take down a sex trafficking ring. I still heard about it.
7 months?
So that weekend back in February, the blizzard?
Yeah.
It's mine? When were you gonna tell me, darling?
Well, like you just said, you were 4,000 miles away. Didn't really know how to get a hold of you.
Fair enough, but I'm here now.
For how long?
Can't say.
That's why I didn't bother you with it. You don't have time to worry about it.
I'm not worried.
Okay, but it's gonna be okay. My mom's coming up. It's my decision. Don't worry, it's not your responsibility.
But it is. We gotta talk. I'm not just gonna walk away, you know that.
Okay. I'll talk. Right now I gotta get upstairs. I'll be fine. Right now there's a lot going on that I gotta deal with. I'll talk.
That's my phone. You call that number, I'm on a plane in an hour.
The grand jury starts tomorrow. My advice, make sure your guys, and your guys especially, tell the truth in their own words. If they sound coached or too legalistic.
You'll do fine. It's a tragedy.
But it was a good shoot.
Tom Wolfe is right. Sooner or later, all cops become Irish. Look, I don't get to voir dire a grand jury. It's the first 23 through the door, and everyone on that panel will have heard about this case. Some of them will think cops are never guilty. Some will see this through the prism of Ferguson or Baltimore.
This is different.
You think so? But all it takes is 12 votes to indict.
Mr. Barba?
I said no interruptions.
I know, but...
Thank you for coming today. I'd like to warn you that what you are about to see is as graphic as it is tragic. We've obtained cell phone footage of Terrence Reynolds running for his life from the police. A resident of the building across the way took it from his window. Here we see Terrence desperately trying to open a locked door while reaching for his keys. He attempts to put his hands up, turning towards the officer to comply with his commands. The officers begin firing their weapons. Here it is in slow motion. Watch closely. He keeps trying to put his hands up even after his body hits the ground, but the officers just continue to fire until the 9th and final bullet pierces his body.
This changes things.
Doesn't change a damn thing.
It does. It's out there.
Hold on. I know this looks bad, but this is not the angle that they had. If it were, of course, they would never have taken the shot. They were in the heat of the chase. It was dark. They were in the projects.
They were following procedure.
They were doing what any cop would have done in their situation.
Any cop. Even you.
Anyone who's seen the Smoking Guns video knows that Terrence Reynolds was shot in cold blood for the crime of running while black. He was a good man coming.
These police officers put their lives in danger to protect all of us. The only comment I have...
Terrence's murderers will have the right to counsel, the right to trial. Terrence was deprived of those rights. In one instant, these 3 officers were his judge, jury, and executioner.
The police believe the suspect was already in danger.
When we arrived at the bodega, we secured a security still of the suspect, which closely matched our sketch of the rapist.
In the security photo, as well as the sketch, the suspect clearly has an afro. Terrence Reynolds' hair was short-cropped.
With cap, it's hard to tell, but they both wore distinctive basketball jerseys.
Just to be clear, Terrence Reynolds, the man who was killed by police gunfire, was not the man at this ATM.
No, but at the time, we had no way of knowing that. The 1013 that came in said the suspect was running towards the Clayton Powell houses.
And what is a 1013?
Officer in need of assistance. Any cop hears that, he drops what he's doing, he responds.
To your knowledge, was any officer actually in danger at that moment?
They were on the heels of someone they believed to be an armed and violent rapist, so yeah, that would constitute danger.
If the suspect was much younger than the actual rapist, unarmed and innocent, what would that constitute?
Hindsight.
Is that what you would say to Mr. Reynolds' family?
Terrence was a good son. He was working part-time at an animal hospital while he was going for his degree.
Has your son ever been charged with a crime, Mr. Reynolds?
He's been ticketed a few times, once for running a stop sign on his bicycle, once for possession of a joint.
Nothing violent?
No, never.
Why do you think he ran that night when the cops stopped him?
In our neighborhood, relations with the police are not good. Many of Terrence's friends get arrested for no reason. They can't make bail, they lose their jobs. My son didn't do anything wrong, but he knew it wouldn't make a difference. He was just trying to go home.
When the suspect hid in the doorway, he moved his hand towards his belt in a way that indicated he might be reaching for a weapon. In no way is this reckless endangerment. In no way is this criminally negligent homicide. If it were me, I would have believed that our lives and the lives of bystanders were in danger. I would have done what my officers did.
Your officers made the assumption that he's reaching for a gun and not his keys.
They're trained to assess the situation by experience. In this case, they were told the suspect had a weapon.
So, yes. Would the assumption have been different if they'd been chasing a young white woman or a man in a suit?
Well, that's not a fair comparison. The officers were in pursuit of Mr. Reynolds because he matched the description of a dangerous rapist.
Lieutenant, how many rape suspects have you chased in your career?
I don't know, 100?
Now, how many times have you believed your life could be in danger? Would dozens be a fair estimate?
Okay.
According to your file, you've shot 2 such suspects. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So you've had dozens of suspects run, even pull weapons on you, yet time and again, you've chosen not to shoot. Terrence Reynolds was shot. Why?
In my opinion, all police procedures were followed.
He was not facing them. Could they have waited, called for backup? They were also wearing vests. Could they have waited even half a second?
Waited for what? For their partner to get shot? For their own head to get blown off? They followed procedure. I cannot speak to what I would have done in that situation because I was not in the line of fire.
Neither were any of the officers. I'll ask again. Can you think of any option these officers had besides shooting Terrence Reynolds?
In my opinion, all police procedures were followed.
The victims of the rapist you believed you were pursuing were family members of a police officer. Could that have influenced your decision to shoot?
We were told he had a gun on the right side of his waistband. I shot because I thought the suspect was reaching for that gun.
But you didn't see a gun?
I saw him reach for his waistband. He was turning toward Officer Dumas. I was in fear for his life and mine. That's when instinct took over.
You fired 16 times, emptying your magazine, even after Terrence Reynolds was on the ground. Why?
We are trained to shoot until we perceive that there is no longer a threat. In the chaos with bullets ricocheting, you fire until the shooting stops.
So you, Detective Campisi, and Sergeant Donlin all thought the suspect was reaching for a gun. You all thought your lives were in danger.
Yes.
The only difference being, Detective Dumas, you fired just 3 shots. Why is that?
As I said, the situation was chaotic, but I and my fellow officers followed procedure.
Just to clarify for the jury, I'd like to show a video taken by a bystander.
Here's what I can see him.
You recall this moment, Detective?
Yes.
Your fellow officers continued firing after the suspect was down.
We still didn't see his hands. We still had reason to believe that he was armed.
So why did you stop firing?
Again, I didn't have the angle that you have here now.
Could it have been that you perceived that the threat had been eliminated?
I guess.
You guess? Is it possible you had second thoughts? Do you think you should have waited to determine whether Terrence Reynolds was, in fact, armed, was, in fact, an actual threat?
I don't know. He was turning.
He was turning, but you didn't see a gun, and that's why you stopped firing. Isn't it, Detective?
I don't know.
If you and your fellow officers had waited half a second longer, Terrence Reynolds would be alive today. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Hey, how'd it go up there?
I can't talk about it, and neither can you.
But Barbara knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, he does.
She's in a mood.
Yeah. Well, we all are.
You have in front of you the charges of reckless endangerment in the first degree or criminally negligent homicide.
Before we vote, is it possible for us to indict on more serious charges?
Excuse me?
Well, I don't think we're looking at recklessness or negligence. I think we're looking at murder here. Can we bring a charge like that?
That is within your purview. But I would like the grand jury to understand that in order to prove manslaughter 1 or above, you have to prove intent. That's a much higher legal standard requiring an increased level of mens rea. Intent versus negligence.
Well, I'd like you to explain that standard. You know, for manslaughter, murder, whatever. You know, walk us through everything.
I can. But before I do, I'd like to see a show of hands. How many of you would like to hear a definition of those charges?
We are extremely gratified that the grand jury has decided to indict Sergeant Donlin and Detective Campisi on manslaughter 1 and Detective Dumas on reckless endangerment.
This is just the first step toward justice for Terrence. We will continue to do everything we can to make sure these officers are held accountable.
Would the parents like to make a statement?
Obviously, we're pleased with the indictment. This is just the beginning of a long trial.
Well, the DA did what City Hall wanted. Blame the cops, keep the peace.
It's just an indictment. It's not going anywhere. Son of a bitch, Barbara. Good luck next time he needs a cop.
This might not all be on Barbara. Up in the charges, it sounds to me like you had a runaway grand jury.
Run away my ass. Barbara led and they followed. Well, the good thing is, if this does go to trial, there's no way they can prove intent.
After what happened today, you're gonna trust the New York jury?
What are you worried about, Tom?
Excuse me?
You want to tell me what you said up there, that you only got reckless endangerment? All right, I want to know what your lieutenant said up there, too.
That's enough.
Guys, this is not the time.
Hey, what's the status? He didn't make it. He was shot in the face. I couldn't do anything for him.
Traffic stop gone bad. They got the shooter.
Got the wife?
Yeah. 2 kids, 24. Rookie.
Does it get any worse? It might. The mayor's on his way up.
Here's a look at the next all-new Law & Order SVU on NBC. Next Wednesday, the suspect she never wanted to see
My sister is a fugitive.
will bring a cop to an impossible choice.
They're gonna find you. Tell us where she is right now.
New SVU next Wednesday at 9, 8 Central on NBC and get the NBC app.
My daughter is missing.
Sir, lower your voice.
A desperate father
You gonna listen to me now?
is forced to do the unthinkable.
You can't expect to walk out of this.
I don't. All new Chicago PD starts now on NBC.